Hey there, welcome to my channel where I feature alternative and unique home tours. This week's video is part of my alternative home playlist where I feature homes of all sizes doing unique and creative things to make a spectacular home. And I guarantee you that this week's tour is going to make you rethink everything you thought you knew about shipping container homes. Just take a look at this multi-level family home, complete with cantilevered rooms, decorated with recycled materials, and featuring several tranquil spaces. The owner recently listed this house on the market, and it's been going viral online. The price tag makes it one of the fanciest homes I've ever stepped foot in, but also one of the coolest concepts that I've ever featured on this channel. We're gonna take a tour with the owner who came up with the original design, and he's gonna discuss how he's lived in this space for the last 4 years with his family. We'll also learn why he's selling and what he plans to do next.
Hi, I'm Edward Mercer, and this is my shipping container house. I decided to build a shipping container house because it was something different, something new. It started out as a joke with some friends at 1 o'clock in the morning. My friends, they're making fun of me. At first they go, oh, it's gonna be a mobile home park or something like that, and use that joke as a drive for me to do something like this. Even though I say shipping container house, it's more livable than your typical one, I would say. How I got the idea of shipping containers is I've been in the import-export business for 20 years now, and I've always seen stories on it. At first, I was going to do only a 2,000 square foot. The city wasn't open to certain things, so the more that they tried to keep me from doing things, the more it gave me energy to go against what they want to do. My family, there's 4 of us, my wife and 2 girls. I designed this house for them with what they want in the design. A lot of people think I'm an architect or an engineer, but actually I have no background whatsoever. It took me almost a full 2 years to build it, and then I've lived it for 4 years now. The question that people ask me most is, does it cost more to build a shipping container home versus a regular conventional home? To build a normal shipping container home, yes, it can be cheaper, but the way I did it, no, it's not. I didn't go to save money. I meant it as a fun project. Welcome to my shipping container home. Let's go inside. I just came in the front entrance, and as you can see, this is like the center of the house in terms of where we are at. We're sitting in a 20-foot container, and you notice they're all high cubes, so they're 9.5 feet tall, so it's pretty tall. So we'll walk up the stairs, and there's 11 shipping containers, 840s and 320s, but this wall and this wall are only one of 4 walls in the house that are not made of shipping containers. So originally the house ended there, but I decided to add more square footage to the house. So that's what's good about shipping container home, is that if you decide to add more, you can keep adding. I can add another 3 or 4 on the property still and still be okay. So this is kind of my office area, and this is where one of the cantilevers. So right here, we're technically in the air hanging over. So this is one 40-foot container. It goes from here all the way back there. The difficult part is how you connect it to the wood. So what I did is I just put a standard roof on top of it, so it overhangs the container so it doesn't leak. You'll see this atrium. I've always wanted to grow plants inside the house, but I didn't want it in pots like everybody else. We rotate plants in and out sometimes. My wife's from Japan, so this is my take on a Japanese tatami room. It's as true to how it looks like if you were to go to Japan as much as I made it. The only difference is it's in a 20-foot shipping container. The mats are real tatami mats like they have in Japan, and they're set a certain way too. They're just not just thrown in here. Stuff like this, came from Japan. This came from Kobe. We didn't want to go to a store and buy stuff that didn't go with the room. You know, like this thing is like 80 years old. It's paper mache from Japan. Now we're entering the master bedroom, and it's just a hallway going down. And again, I use a lot of wood that is meant for outdoors. I just kept it indoors for a month and a half before I put it on, so it doesn't, swell or, doesn't take moisture and stuff like that. A lot of nuances of Frank Lloyd Wright. He uses a lot of wood in his house. And again, this is outdoor wood that I bought, and I left it in here for a month and a half until it dried up. And again, this, I just went with the flow. We started out with just 1C, and then I wanted to give it the treehouse effect. If you look out my window, it looks like we're in a treehouse. This is also recycled. This came off of some commercial in downtown Portland. I try to mix a lot of materials. So if you can see, this is something very delicate. My wife's mom made it, by hand. But this is just a piece of wood. And then I had a welder. This is a motorcycle chain, but it's just a simple shelf that I made. Gives you a little more like a steampunk. And then, you get this little delicate paper flower on top. The story of this is I have a friend who wraps cars for a living, and I'm kind of his guinea pigs. He decided he wants to do wallpaper. So this is a photo from a famous garden in Japan in my wife's hometown, and we decided to print it out, put it on the wall. So we have wallpaper around the house, so it gives it, just not just drywall, but gives it a feel of nature too. Walking into the master bath. These came from overseas. And then this actually came from Indonesia. It was somebody's door. It's dated back to the 1500s. Basically, when I built this house, I literally didn't have a plan. The door, the front door there came to a point where my guy, he couldn't cut the container yet because I didn't know which door it was. So I went down to the recycle center, and a guy just donated. It was still in the cart. I bought it right off of the cart and loaded my truck. Brought it down to my container guy, and he went and cut it out. That's how it was. So up until 10 minutes prior, I didn't know which door I was gonna use. It was kind of like that all the time. We're back to the front door, and this is why I was saying, the recycled door that I go in the fly, and bought, and I kept it like that. I didn't want to refinish it, and anything I buy recycle for the most part, I don't go and finish it, because if I'm gonna go and paint this, stain this, it's gonna, hurt nature. And that's not the point of, trying to recycle, right? I actually looked it up. This door it's a mahogany door. It's a $10,000 door. When I walked into that rebuild center, they had just unloaded off of a truck. I guess some rich guy it didn't fit his house or something. So I bought it for $900. So they were gonna sell for $1,200, but I go, hey, can I do it for $800? And then we sell it at $900. But it's a solid $10,000 door, so that's the good thing about that. And so now, if you get the Frank Lloyd Wright, image, is like when you walk into his home, the entrance is kind of smaller. I didn't want to keep it that small, it's just an impression of it. So, and then when you walk in here, now all of a sudden you walk into a bigger space. This area is the main living area. That's a 40-foot container going that way. And then you got a 40-foot container going this way. And then that's a 40-foot container, and it's divided, the bar, the dining, the cooking area. So this first part is a fully stocked bar. That's a container ceiling there, and that's drywall. It takes a lot of time, but somebody had to cut each piece, out of drywall. So you can see, there's a little steampunk look in there. This is our dining room table. It's just a solid piece of 8.5-foot tree trunk that I imported from Indonesia. A lot of the stuff came from Indonesia, Japan, China, and then a lot of stuff locally. One day I came across this door. I go, you know what? That's gonna be my chandelier. We like to cook. Ours is actual a restaurant kitchen. Not legal in normal home, but in here it's okay because we have metal. We use this type of tile which doesn't melt. Sometimes when we have guests over, we just close this. So that's the pantry, the refrigerator, everything's hidden in there. This table was made by myself and another guy at 1 o'clock in the morning. We bought Home Depot 60-pound crate bags, 32 of them. And we just put it in a wheelbarrow and we dumped it in here and smoothed it out and sanded it quite a few times. We bought epoxy and we mixed in glow in the dark. When you have the light on during the daytime, it charges. So I'll give you an example. So I just turn on the flashlight to charge it. And then at night, this is what it looks like. This wall here is another 40 foot. Again, this is a part of the shipping container. These are one trippers, and when I say one trippers, sometimes like Intel or Nike or Apple or something, they want a brand new container. They don't know what chemicals or whatever has been inside the used containers. So these are called one trippers, and they use it for high-tech stuff so that it keeps it clean and stuff. I know that these are pretty safe. This is a teak root. 1,000-year-old teak root, but it's illegal to export teak from Indonesia now. So they go back in and they dig up these roots to sell. And then this actually came from the local rockery. So it's just a piece of flagstone, and a friend of mine, he carved it out for me. I just hooked it onto our plumbing and call it a day. The vibe you get when you come to my house is you get a 1950s mid-century with modern industrial with a little bit of steampunk. 1950s, if you think about it, you got a conversation pit. So that's what this is. My pond, it becomes my fish tank in here. Koi's, I have 15 or 17, and then the goldfish about 70. So originally, actually, this was gonna be a swimming pool for the kids. We had to save these fish from my old house. I took these and brought them here, so we turned it into a pond. We're going to the kids' room. The kids' room is made of 3 40-foot shipping containers. Because of COVID, they had to study from online from home. So this is where they sat to study. So it's a nice circle window. This also cantilevers out. From this circle window all the way down to the artwork down there my kids drew, that's a 40-foot container. And if you notice here, a lot of containers exposed. These 3 windows here, they came off of a historical building here in downtown Portland. When you cut big holes like this in a container, it does ruin the structure of the actual corrugated. So how we alleviate that is we put these tubings, it's all engineered. Our engineer calls it out and we follow what he says, but these are 2-inch tubings. This is the end of a 40, and now you're gonna go see 2 40s. Next to each other. This is the kids' TV room. This is where the 2 containers meet. And then we just bolted it on, and then we weld them on the outside of this. So this is their bathroom. We have a little throne here. There's pipes and water running underneath, and we didn't want to expose this. These are the little differences in a normal home, because normal home they would have, this wouldn't be like this, but since it's a shipping container home, you have to do what you got, you have to work with what you have. Here's one of the girls' room, and then here's another girl's sleeping area. If you want to look up close, this is where the 2 containers meet. So this is one container, and then this is the other container. My best accomplishment or a feel good that people tell me is like when they open the door, the first thing everybody says is, whoa. The reason why I'm selling this house is because 1 is trying to downsize, make a smaller footprint. 2 is I want to do something a little crazy. Might build a home out of more ship containers or something totally different, you know? Concrete or something, I don't know, mud, I don't know.
Whatever somebody dares you to do.
Right.
Thanks for watching this week's video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next week with another tiny house or unique home tour.